Creepshow 2, I believe, is the first horror anthology movie I've ever seen. What I could recall seeing. I've seen horror anthology stuff before in terms of like in other media, like horror anthology television shows like Monsters and Tales from the Crypt and Tales from the Dark Side. But I think the first horror anthology film I ever saw was Creepshow 2. And I saw it when I was 10 years old. It was in the summer. Um, it was on, I recorded it on Cinemax. It came on late at night, recorded it, watched it during the day. And yeah, like I liked it. like, from the jump, from the very start. I thought it was a really good movie. The first tale in Creepshow 2, directed by Michael Gornick, who was the cinematographer of Creepshow 1. George Romero came back to write the script. I think he produced the film as well. I can't remember, but I know he definitely did the screenplay. And he had based the stories on, I believe, all the installments in Creepshow 2 on Stephen King tales. I know The Wrath was definitely based on the Stephen King tale for sure. Um, it's Stephen King, he comes back, but I don't think he came back in a creative uh, position. I think he came back. Well, I know he came back. He did a cameo inside the Hitchhiker. I think the tale was called, and but I don't think he returned in any creative capacity. I don't think. But but yeah, so this sequel has three tales instead of five, like the original. The first tale is Old Chief Woodenhead, starring George Kennedy, Dorothy Lamour, and Halt McCallany. David Hallbrook, who's the son of Hal Hallbrook from the first Creepshow movie. You have this older couple who they run this store in this small town, and they have this Native American, I guess, I don't want statue. I guess you can say wooden statue, and in front of their store, and the small town has fallen on hard times, and this older couple is doing their best to just to survive and thrive. These store owners, and then one particular night, is a group of assholes come to rob the store, and horror ensues, and the movie starts off to a strong start. I just think it's a pretty gripping tale. Yeah, it's pretty simple, pretty standard in terms of that. You know exactly what's going to happen in this tale. If you have any familiarity with, revenge tales, comic tales, just like media in general, you pretty much knows where this story is going, how it's going to end. But I think it's definitely well done. I think it's tense. I think it's the acting is solid. Yeah, it's just well done. And this tale was also my introduction to Halt McCallany. Again, I hope I pronounced it correctly. He's an actor whose work that I really admire, and stuff like Fight Club, Alien 3, Mindhunters, or is it My Hunter? But yeah, but all the actors in this are good, and yeah, like I said, a really strong start to this anthology tale. The next tale is The Raft, and this tale is my favorite of all the tales in this trinity of stories. The Raft stars Daniel Beer and Jeremy Green. This tale is, to me, the most fucked up tale in the whole entire film. And that says quite a bit, because there's definitely some unsettling stuff throughout the whole film, unsettling imagery. Yes, it's pretty creepy and grotesque, this tale. Particularly a person's particular actions towards the end of this tale, which made me hate that person a lot, particularly what happened to someone because of their fucked up actions. But yeah, like again, like similar to Old Chief Woodenhead, like it's a very simple setup. You have a group of 20 somethings who are just, looking for a good time. And they go out to this kind of, I guess, say remote area, to this lake, and just to go out there and have a swim and have a good time and all that. And they eventually get on this raft, and immediately after getting on this raft, they encounter this huge, massive oil slick, a pretty malevolent oil slick. Well, I don't know if it's truly malevolent. I don't know if it's really evil or anything. It just maybe it's in its nature to do what it does. Just like an alligator, it's in its nature to do what it does, or a lion, or a bear, or a wolf. So I can't say that this being, this oil slick, I don't know even know what you really say what it is, but this monster is evil, but it's certainly very, very dangerous. And in terms of like in monsters, like in cinema, like that I would never want to come across. This is definitely up there in the top. Like, yeah, I don't ever want to come across anything like that. Like, it is just nasty, just a nasty, grotesque things that will do nasty, grotesque things to your body. And the body horror in this film is actually it's pretty high. It's pretty high. Like, I wouldn't say it's off the charts, but it's pretty high. Like the messed up things this thing does to its prey in this film, well, in this story. There's no fat on this story. It's lean, it's mean, like it has no mercy. The acting is solid. Like just everything about it, like just the direction, the effects, like it's all top-notch stuff. Easily my favorite story in this anthology. And just like if I had to have like a list of like best horror installments that I've seen like in horror anthology films, not the Crate, the Raft would definitely be high on that list. Not to say the Crate wouldn't be too. The Crate's awesome from the original Creepshow, but yeah, like yeah, this is just horror, with a capital H, with this story. And particularly like in the imagery, particularly like this one particular character that I mentioned earlier that suffered because of the actions of this other character near the end of the story. Just like what happens to this character, and just like I always just feel so bad. It's always hard for me to watch the scene, but I will say, like, the character who fucked up with doing what they did, I loved how they got theirs. Like, in terms of comeuppance, like inside media, easily one of the best. Like, yeah, you got what you fucking deserved. Moments I've seen in anything. Like, it's perfect. It's perfect. And the last story in Creepshow 2 is Hitchhiker. Stars Lois Chiles, Tom Wright, and has a cameo by the great Stephen King. And this story is also fantastic. And it would have been my favorite if it wasn't for the raft. But it comes close. It comes really, really close. Like, this is another really tense tale that actually starts off like I wouldn't say slow, but it takes a while to get going, like to rev up, I will say. But it's all like proper build up, engaging build up. Lois Chiles plays an unfaithful wife on her way home from a extramarital encounter. And on her journey back to her house, she goes ahead and unintentionally runs into a hitchhiker. Now, most people would go ahead and do the right thing and get out of their car, call for help, and help out the person that they hit. Not her. She decides to go ahead and leave the hitchhiker unattended and just continues going on her way home as if she didn't go ahead and hit a human being. A decision she definitely regrets not long after. And it is actually quite exciting to watch in a horror type of way, anyway. Um, this guy is definitely the perfect personification of persistence, the person that she hits. This person does not allow something like death to get in the way of getting revenge. And the hitchhiker, played by Tom Wright, is, I mean, he's just a very, very memorable character. Definitely, I mean, he's certainly not a monster because, I mean, technically you could say he's a monster because he's a zombie, but Tom Wright is spectacular in the role as the hitchhiker. He plays a very memorable. I don't know. He's not a monster. I mean, he's a zombie, so I guess technically he's a monster. But he's like, I guess, an antagonist, even though he's the good guy. But of course, the antagonist is not necessarily always the bad guy, and the protagonist, who is Lois's character, is not always the good guy. But yeah, he's definitely really intense and unforgettable. And Lois is Chalez is also really great in the movie as well. It's definitely a lot of great back and forth between the two of them during this really turbulent trip back to our home. And yeah, just the effects in this, like the makeup effects in particular, on the hitchhiker, as like the amount of damage that he just takes and takes as, you know, Lois's character, you know, runs him over, does this, does that to him. Like, just the deterioration is really well done. I remember as a kid just really just seeing that, just like, you know, just messed me up. Like, like particularly like in his final form is like, I remember like seeing that for the first time, like, what am I looking at? It's like, it was just like, on one hand so grotesque, but at the same time just like you couldn't, like, you didn't want to look at it, but at the same time you couldn't help but like keep on looking at it. Like, you couldn't turn away from it, you know, type of thing, no matter how like unsightly it was. And of course, you know, Tom Wright's, you know, immortal line from the film, "Thanks for the ride, lady." It's just, that's a very underrated and unsung, like, you know, catchphrase. Like, that definitely belongs in the cinematic Hall of Fame of like best like one-liners. Yeah, it's just like all the tales in Creepshow 2, just really tense, really tight, lean, and definitely mean. And in terms of tone and in terms of what you see on screen. And Michael Gornick really does a really commendable job of directing this film. I think this might be his directorial debut in terms of feature films. And I'm not sure if he did any other, at least I can't remember right now, did he direct any more films after this? I know if he did, he didn't direct too many, which is a shame because he definitely had the stuff. He definitely had the makings of a director who, you know, who had the skills, you know, at least in regards to doing horror. Like, you know, he did a really, really, really good job on this film. It is definitely more than a worthy successor to Creepshow 1. It's not just the three stories that makes Creepshow 2 awesome. There's also the wraparound story that makes it awesome. The wraparound story in the first film, it's live action, as the rest of the film, of course, is live action. But this time around, most of the wraparound story is animated this time around. I'm not sure. Well, actually, I can think why they went animated this time around. With at least what happens in the last portion of the wraparound story, at least in regards to, the boy that the story focuses on and the bullies that he encounters. What happens to the bullies in the end? Yeah, that would have been quite costly if you try to keep the budget low. That would have been very costly to do in live action and to do it convincingly in live action, even if they had the budget. But it gives a different feel, definitely. The wraparound being animated, and the steps are, it gives Creepshow 2 its own identity, distinct from the first one. I know I've heard some people talk about that the animation's terrible and this and that, and yeah, it's not, it's not the greatest example of like the best that animation has to offer, but this is 1987. This is a low budget film. This was about as good as you're gonna get, and I think it's more than enough. I think it's more than adequate. I actually kind of like the animation, the rough animation in the wraparound, and I definitely like, I think this. I mean, no, I really love the wraparound in the first Creepshow. I was about to say like maybe I think it's better than the wraparound in the first Creepshow, but I can't say it's any worse. I think they're tied, and the ending's definitely like some messed up stuff. I remember seeing it as a kid, like, just how it ends, and it's like, I mean, it may not be messed up in how you look at it, but still, what happens to what, the fate of what happens to the bullies, like, they were also like kids themselves, and like, someone could say they kind of got what they deserve, but at the same time, it's like it was really messed up what happened. And particularly seeing that as a kid and seeing it happen, the fate of these kids, it's like, I was only 10 years old at the time, like, okay, that's kind of like rough. I think Creepshow 2 is awesome. I think it's incredibly underrated. Yes, it doesn't reach the heights of the original Creepshows, but most films don't in general, regardless of their genre. And this awesome sequel is bolstered by an amazing score by Les Reed. This score I would put about pretty close to the score by John Harrison of the original Creepshow. And this film in general, I would put pretty close to the original Creepshow in terms of like just entertainment and engagement. Yeah, it's one of the, to me, the all-time best anthologies. Creepshow 2. Again, I don't think a lot of people would agree with that. But that's cool, and I think that Creepshow 2 is cool. But Creepshow 2 would have been a little bit more cooler if it was able to have the original intended fourth story called, I think it was called Pinball, that involved zombies and bowling. Oh, what a lost opportunity.